Top of the morning to you. You're listening to Flow FM 92.7. We're live from the city of Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria today, the 1st of January 2025. We can say Happy New Year to you, dear listener. Thank you so very much for listening to Flow FM 92.7. And this is the headline news review, and that is where we take a look at some of the big stories making national headlines, and we talk about them, analyze them. Our analyst this morning is Nicholas Omaronoye. Good morning to you, Nicholas.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you so much.
It's good to see you in 2025.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
How was 2024 for you? One word to describe the year.
Eventful.
Eventful.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're very hopeful and very optimistic for the new year, 2025, and thank God it's here.
Yes,
We're
it's
starting
very
on a very, very good note.
Yeah.
We wish you all the very best and a good run of 2025.
Thank you.
And don't forget as well, too, you can join the conversation on 0807 777 9927. 0807 777 9927. And please note that we will not give space for logical fallacies. Fake news will not be entertained on the program. While you react to some of these trending national stories, please go straight to the point, keep it clean, and keep it very, very civil. Please also note that positions taken in reaction to any of the national trending headlines is not the position of Flow FM 92.7, but solely expressed by the analyst Nicholas Omaronoye, or maybe by a responder this morning. Let's kick off with this one. PDP is urging President Bola Tinubu to address the nation with concrete solutions for 2025. Expectedly, well, in the normal fashion, let me put it that way, the president's want to address the nation in New Year's message and all of these things. But the PDP say, hey, come on, don't come with vague statistics, but rather come and address Nigerians with solutions to some of the hardships that Nigerians are experiencing this year. What's your reaction to that? No. And of course, do you think that's the path the president, might take?
Well, the opposition party will have to be the opposition party. PDP will always have to be PDP, because they are in the opposition. And of course, over the years, we cannot say that, the observation is unfounded. Each time it's a ritual for the president to come out and say, make promises and things like that. At the end of the day, it doesn't pan out like, same was made last year. And of course, we know what 2024 was in terms of economic hardship and a lot of challenges. So, asking the president to be more concrete, in its, determination, in its, effort to make things better for Nigeria. I think it's proper. And there was some captions I saw earlier today, with the president saying that he's going to make sure the cost of food and medical items is brought down. You understand? That is one concrete way of, responding to PDP. That making that promise and ensuring that it happens. Because at the end of the year, we are going to look at the figures again and see whether actions were put into words, So, let's just give it to them. Their opposition, they have to oppose.
They have to constantly oppose.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's quickly move away from that and onto this conversation of the federal government on Tuesday. It said it was open to constructive dialogue with the leadership of Niger Republic to de-escalate the brewing diplomatic tension between the two neighboring countries.
Well, that is expected of the federal government of Nigeria to say. Don't forget, Nigeria is the big brother, But, you and I know that, it's a cloak and dagger thing. The diplomatic thing, maneuver is a cloak and dagger thing. You don't really, it's not what you can really pen. It's most of the talking, most of the deal making is always behind the scene. So a great deal of things has happened under the table, that both have seen. And of course, like I said, that I wish the Nigerian president hadn't come out openly to make those accusations at Nigeria, because, that he's the last person, he's the last resort, to getting any meaningful negotiation. So if he has taken that trenchant position, it will be a tall order for him to come down from that high horse, because he will be seen as, weak, and no leader wants to be seen as weak. So, yeah. The federal government might be ostensibly making that, to appear as if we are trying to be conciliatory. So it is now left for the Nigerian to make a counter offer, trying to meet Nigeria on halfway. That is, meet them halfway, so that we can have a more tension, reduced tension between both countries. Because the honest truth, like I keep on saying, is that any tensed up, emotions between Nigeria and Nigerian is not going to bode well for both countries. Considering the kind of links we have had over the years, over the centuries, and considering the fact that over 5 countries are five states, have relatives in Nigeria. They are closely linked. I'm talking of blood relation. Even to the extent that the former president says that, look, if you Nigerians continue to persecute me, you come to me in Katsina, I will go to Nigeria to go and stay. So that's to tell you how closely we are linked. So it's a very tense situation, and the president making that overture, the federal government making that overture, I think it's a step in the right direction. But I sincerely hope that Nigerian will meet us halfway.
Okay, so let's say that this constructive dialogue, actually takes place. What do you project would come out of it?
You see, like I said, it is always good that we don't fall into this proxy war thing, because that is exactly what is going to happen. Now, throwing out France out of Niger by the junta, will necessarily, that's a huge vacuum that you have created in terms of, superpower backing you. So going for Russia, so whatever it's going to take, whatever they are going to do, have to be subjected to what Russia tells them to do. So that is the implication of bringing in Russia into those places, because you are going to consult them very well. And over the years, yes, Nigeria on paper is non-aligned. They might not be sufficiently threatened, but again, we are talking of a country over the years that has had a close link with US and Britain, which are polar. They are polar apart from in terms of ideology, in terms of economy, in terms of defense. Defense treaty with the West. So you are going to have a very, very dicey situation. So whatever they are going to do, whatever step they are going to take, is going to be with approval. Well, if I can put it that way, advice from what the Russians think at the moment.
Well, I also want to ask you, and of course, this has to do with the West and Russia now. With this situation, strained relationships between the West, Russia, and Nigeria and Niger.
You see, it's about interest generally. Let us, put it clearly. Whether you go to war, whether you foment terrorism, it's all about interest, mostly political and economic interest. If it's in the long interest of Russia, because I think that is in terms of the interest of Russia in the long run, it is not wise to make Nigeria angry. Yes, you might think that I'm, trying to, because Nigeria wields a great deal of influence globally. A lot of people might not know this, and I'll give you the reasons why. When you talk of Nigeria, you're talking of 1 in every 5 black men being a Nigerian. When you talk of top performing industrialists, scientists, scholars, you have Nigerians among them. They will always have ties, to their country of birth. Don't forget the current leader of the Conservative Party in
Kemi Badenoch.
Kemi Badenoch is Nigerian. You have politicians.
Well, Nigerian?
She's Nigerian.
She's Nigerian, but again, our reaction and our stand on Nigeria.
That one is just, just political grandstanding. She's trying to, it's one
get
of those
popularity.
Popularity,
Right,
but she's Nigerian. You talk of a lot of politicians in the U.S. in the Congress who are Nigerians who have a link close. Either they are Nigerians or they have a link with Nigeria. So it is not. We are talking of an international coalition of pressures that could come to bear. That might come to bear on Russia if they take any adversarial stance against Nigeria. So it is not an easy thing. So that's why I said in the long run, it is always in the best interest of Russia, Niger, not to rile Nigeria. That is simple truth.
In this situation, does it look like Niger understands that, the position of Nigeria globally, and that's why the alliance with Russia is so tied up right now?
Of course, they understand. But I think what Niger is trying to do is like a preemptive thing. Of course, they understand the power Nigeria wields, and they know that Nigeria will not rest until it comes back into ECOWAS. Not strictly because, it's a brotherly thing to do. Don't forget, you see, there is this kind of a complex relationship between France and US and the West. They have this very complex, at some point you think that the US and France are at war. But when you look at their history, they have a lot in common. In fact, as a matter of fact, the fight to get their independence from Britain, was facilitated by France. You understand? So, so a lot of, you have a lot of cultural and historical link between France and the US. So you are going to see that sometimes there are certain things that US might just close their eyes to. Even Britain might close their eyes to, in France trying to get, because it's a quid pro quo kind of a thing that they do over all those big powers. So to a very large extent, what we are seeing is a high-level diplomatic maneuver that is happening. And Niger has kind of played smack into the middle. And Nigeria, too, is being sucked into that vortex. And we need to be very, very careful. We need to be very, very careful.
All right, well, let's move away from that conversation and onto this one. It's about the PDP in Edo State and has called for urgent intervention by His Excellency, President Bola Tinubu, and the Inspector General of Police and in the traditional institutions to address the ongoing crisis regarding the suspension of local government chairmen in the state. It says that the suspension was initiated on December 17, 2024 over allegations of misconduct, but Adeyemi is arguing that it was unlawful and done without proper hearings.
The Attorney General has made a profound statement that the governor has no right to suspend any elected local government, and I strongly align with federal government's position on that. Now, having said that, you see, this young man, the governor of Edo State, I don't know. You see, it is one thing for people to, I have tried as much as possible to give him a BOD. They say he doesn't know how to speak English. They say he's uneducated and things like that. And we try to make excuse, play the devil's advocate. Okay, what if it's like this and not like what we are? But the man, with every steps he keeps on taking, he keeps on, a man who finds himself in a ditch and still continues digging. You understand? Because I don't understand the rationale behind that action, especially when there is a groundswell of support for that Supreme Court judgment. So, yes, the PDP has a right to cry out. And I think the federal government, for the sake of, the federation, should really do something strong. Wield a very, very strong arm, of the law in this matter and see how this thing is resolved so that every other governor can rest. But again, like I said, you see, what you're saying is like a poker game. Politics is like a poker game. You just, you don't see the expression. You don't see what is going on in the heart with the expression of the person playing poker. So this might just be an open gambit by some very, very strong interest within the governor's forum, trying to see how the president will react to certain action. Don't forget that a governor in the Southwest or your state, said that Supreme Court ruling is not implementable. So there will be a lot of resistance to it, and something is telling me that might just be, and that is an opening gambit. Seeing how the federal government is going to react to it, then if the federal government does not do something decisive about it, you see a continuation of that in other states.
So you should say that governors will get away with this, or they probably might get away with this.
They could probably get away with it, considering the fact that it happened before. Let's forget. What the Supreme Court did not make a new rule. It did not make a new law. The Supreme Court only interpreted the law as it should be. But don't forget that since 2003, I think within 2002 up to the point where the Supreme Court made that ruling, governors have been contravening that critical section of the Constitution, willy-nilly sacking local government elected officials at will, at whims. You understand? So they've done it before. So the only thing that the Supreme Court has done is to reaffirm the law. And how we now expect the number one law officer of the country to really wield the stick, for the sake of this federation and for the sake of Nigerians and for the sake of a lot of people, who will tomorrow be governors. They will understand that there is a law that can, you can't run a parallel nation within a nation. That is what I think the governor is trying to do.
If you look at this again, you see the situations of, because it's a very deep story, and it's a national story. We've seen this happen, like you mentioned, it's happened before. So many states, in Rivers and your state, and then also so many other states as well. My question for clarity's sake is just the governor conducts the local government elections, right? Does he have the constitutional power to remove them? Because This one great.
Okay, please.
We see across so many states, you see local government chairmen have been suspended, removed from office, and caretaker committee caretaker committee is being set up. Different people are holding forts for local governments. Some governors even run 3-4 years their first tenure without conducting a local government election. Again, how much of intervention can the president and the number one chief law officer of the federation, that is the Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice, do in seeing that, well, if this law does exist, the governors should follow and obey this law?
We see, this is where it is going to be very complicated. Number one, what I think the federal government can do is to, the local government chairman that is removed has to man up to seek the intervention of the police and go back to his office and have him protected by the police and have him do his duty without any molestation whatsoever. The federal government can do that. The police is in its purview. The DSS in its within its ambit. It can control it. The army too. So if possible, put the army, just to make an example that you cross this line, anybody that crosses the line and touches an elected officer, that is what the Supreme Court is saying. The Supreme Court is saying that this is an elected officer. You don't have any power to remove him. So every paraphernalia of power within the country should be put in place to protect that law, to protect that law.
Who then can remove a sitting chairman? The local
councillors. Yeah, impeachment.
Hold on, but you see, the state assemblies are. Look at the situation in Rivers State.
Okay.
Because of the camping, the state assembly will say, well, your seats are vacant.
Okay. Yeah, because the law provides that if there are no fractuousness within the party, you cannot defect, because you came into that power on the platter of that party. The candidate and the party are inseparable. So the moment you remove, you return the mandate to the people who voted you on that platform. So that is the logic behind that rule, behind that law. So the moment you vacate it's not the same thing with an elected executive. You understand? Because the Constitution actually prescribes the only way you can remove an elected officer, an executive officer, by impeachment to third majority of the lawmakers. So it's, that's why it's a three-tier government, 3-tier spheres of governance that we have. That we have the federal, you have the state, and the local government. It's a 3-tier thing. So that immunity that is enjoyed by the governor is also extended to the chairman. He can only be removed if you impeach him. So that is what the Supreme Court is saying, that once people have given a mandate to a person, it is not within your power to remove him.
How did you get here then?
Of course, you see, it's, I've always said this. You see, I don't know. There's this thing about us Nigerians. We tend to, not the willingness to think that we are above the law. The moment you are given a little power, the next thing is how to circumvent known laws. You understand? This thing has been, like I said, it has been there. They know the truth, but they will seek technicalities with which to go under. How did it happen? Under AD. It started in AD. AD, that is the Alliance for Democracy. That was where the whole thing started. The tenure elapsed and they refused to do election. And they put in a caretaker, so that they can hijack of course, some of this fault came from the local government at that time, because they were kind of, they were just, they were owing salaries. There were issues of corruption, lack of transparency in the local government level. So up to the point that, that was when Algon, this Association of Local Government Workers, were up in arms. So the state government decided to take over some of the functions, and from there, the local government were emasculated. That was where it all started. But you see, rather than emasculate, it was like a coup against the local government. So just like a coup never solves any problem, rather it will create the culture of fiat. That was what was created at the local government level. So now we are not trying to go back to status quo ante, what it used to be. So that is what we are trying to go back to now, and there is resistance. So that is what we are facing right now.
All right, well, let's move away from that and onto the story about Rivers PDP faction as urging INEC to conduct elections for 27 vacant assembly seats because, they defected from the PDP to the All Progressives Congress and APC. That's APC in 2023. So now, is that the place of INEC to do? And
well, you see, let us look at it from this. For the first time, I have never been sympathetic with INEC, but right now, with that situation in Rivers State, they have my sympathy. But you see, that is the culture. You see, when we allow too much of impunity to be part of our culture, that is what happens. INEC is trying to be very, very careful. You understand? Because there was a gross miscalculation on the part of those lawmakers, making a premature declaration via a video, which they are now claiming was AI generated. You understand? You see how funny Nigerian politicians can be. So they felt that that groundswell of opposition, they could sweep away the governor, and that was what I think happened. And they discovered that Rivers is not like anywhere else. The moment you are out of power in Rivers, the governor in place, everybody, all stakeholders just gravitate towards that person, and that is what they are saying. So they are saying the effect. And now, I don't know, because there has been a lot of different types of law, court judgment. So I cannot say definitely what but what you have there is a state of a complete state of inertia. Nothing is really happening where it's concerned. So, and I see, what PDP is trying to do is just to further put them under pressure, asking INEC to conduct election. Now, what are you waiting for? These people are, they've been suspended. They have lost their seat, but they willingly resigned by leaving the party. So come and conduct. So it's like putting both INEC and those lawmakers under pressure. So that is the thing. So it's going to be, I don't know, for those lawmakers saying that they are making a new, that is, they are putting 2024 behind them is not going to be possible, because that 2024 error is going to hunt them into the new year.
Well, still staying with the PDP, though, the PDP is planning to reach out to former Kano State Governor, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, to persuade him to return to the party that nurtured his political career and brought him to where he is today in terms of political popularity and all of this. And of course, that has to do with the statement of Kwankwaso, who recently said the PDP is dead and cannot achieve any significant success in the future. Well, he's not the only one who has made such statements or something close to that. Former Ekiti State Governor Adeyemi Fayose made a statement as well too. Former Senator Dino Melaye made the same, kind of close like statements. So in all of this, what is the true nature of this? And these were strong PDP members at some point. Are they throwing shots at themselves or what? Truly is the situation.
I think they are throwing shots at themselves and throwing shots at the party. And again, they are throwing shots at what it means to be a Nigerian politician. Nigerian politicians are largely shallow in the way they say things. Normally, when you leave an institution that made you somehow, you are somehow, that's why the concept of alumnus and things like that, so you are grateful because that institution made you, right? But where the Nigerian politician, it's an exception. It doesn't happen. Most politicians, when they leave a party, they become ungrateful to that party. That is what you are saying. So that's why the average Nigerian politics is something totally different from what I know of that you practice elsewhere. We are so unique in our politics in Nigeria that sometimes it is both laughable and sad. Damagun, what Damagun said is, it's quite accurate, really, because the best years of Rabiu Kwankwaso happened in PDP. You get my point. So, saying that he will always come back, there is room for, I think it's proper. And again, there's something, regarding, however hard I have been on PDP, there's something you cannot take away from PDP. Its ability to manage crisis it's out of this world. No party has that record. When they were in power, they will have issues, but somehow they will manage it. Even in opposition, they will have issues.
Several times they destroyed the Wadata Plaza.
Exactly.
Their headquarters.
You still have them win some states, win senatorial seats, and the rest of them. They've still managed to go on. And maybe that is really their staying power. by being not too oppositional, by being shallow, maybe that's the secret weapon, really. So, yeah, yes, he's right in trying to remind Rabi Kwankwaso that, you see, in politics, never say never. You understand? Because we've had that same situation. Even Atiku himself said it when he left PDP, and they shouldn't forget that PDP is the way it is because people like them left. They weakened the party. They weakened the party and made APC win. You understand? Now they went to APC. Where are they now? APC has thrown, well, they left APC too. Are they going to say the same thing about APC? So that is the point we are trying to make. That the average Nigerian politician sees the political party as just a vehicle that you can discard anytime you don't need it anymore. And when you have a new car, you discard it. But usually when you have an old car, you can still keep it for the sake of antique now. Abi? Is that not what the practice? But it's not so with the Nigerian politician.
All right.
It's sad, really.
Let's touch on this one before we round off on the analysis this morning. This is this conversation about the Bauchi governor. He is now denying threatening Tinubu and accuses the presidency of blackmail. Right. His special advisor, Mukhtar Gidado, said the governor has dismissed the accusations and calling them a misleading attempt by the federal government to deflect from the issue at hand.
What part is he saying that is misleading? He did say that Nigeria, that the North will show the president his true power now, true color. You understand that? So whether it's blue or purple, we don't know. We're not sure. He did say that now, and when you say that is a veiled threat. Let us not belabor the matter. It's a veiled threat. Yeah, but of course, in politics, you can say a lot of things that when you put it in actual words, it's just one of those rhetorics. You understand? I'm a student of language. It's just pure political rhetorics. That is it. But you see, in this part of the world, there's this way we ingenuinely how am I going to put it? I don't want to use the wrong, we can be very, very crafty negatively, trying to put somebody on the spot. And I believe that that is what they turned his word against him. And the governor is beginning to feel the pressure. That is why he now had to, make, ask his, sidekick to make that kind of statement. But that statement came from him directly. It wasn't a case of an aide making that statement on his behalf. He made it directly. So an aide trying to clarify issues here is going to be very difficult for him. It's going to be very difficult because I don't see that happening, in a long while. I don't see, I don't see that thing dying down, in a long while. So you will have to be more specific about what it actually meant
by the official true colors.
You see, if you recall what I said it would have been more on point if he had said how that bill will affect his own state. You understand? Because what he's doing is to bring an entire region against the federal government. That is what he has done. You understand? So I think he should have, and you see, that is the thing we keep on telling some of these our people, some of these our governors. Speak to the issues that affect the office that you are holding. Leave the other people. Don't say because we Hausa Fulani or we Igbo, we Yoruba, we Ibira, you. This is what you have done that is affecting me. These are what you have done that is affecting the people that have been elected to rule. You understand? So if you say, for instance, if that bill, this specific aspect of the bill, if it is made into law, this so industry in Bauchi State is going to die because all these proceeds will go to state A, state B, state C. You understand? That is very, very specific. You are speaking to the issue and you are not making a politics out of it. So that is my point, really.
Nicholas, thank you very much. Now, because of our time, NLC is also insisting on the withdrawal of the tax reform bills. NLC says, they should be withdrawn and the custom then let other, national stakeholders join and the custom assess the bill before it's being passed. In this few seconds, how do you react to NLC on that tax reform bill?
Well, that is okay. I agree that a lot of tinkering, some rapprochement, and consultation needs to be done so that people can be carried on board. Because you see, with all this incendiary rhetorics up and down, a lot of people who don't even know what the bill is all about, are swept into the bandwagon. So there should be a lot of talking, a lot of rapprochement, a lot of consultations. Yeah, it should happen.
All right, Nicholas, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And because it was a very good start to the headline news review for 2025. We'll look forward to more of your comments on some of these national trending headlines. Thank you for coming this morning. We wish you a very, very good 2025.
Thank you.
And that's the size of the program for this morning. Please, again, the position taken on some of these national trending stories is not in any way the position of Flow FM, but are solely expressed by Nicholas Owarunoye. We're back to your ears tomorrow morning, same time, 8 to 8:30. Please join us then. I am Adedayo, Adeyemi.
And I'm Danielle. Shitta-Bey. Happy New Year.
Here to light up the sea.